皆さん、こんにちは。タイムレスゲームスへようこそ。私たちの体やゲームは時代遅れになる可能性がありますが、ゲーム体験は時代を超越したものであり、続けます。
はい。
何?
I don't know.
何これWhat's up, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Timeless Gamer Show, where our games and our bodies may grow out of date, but our gaming experiences will forever remain timeless. And the show is now live in Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And to watch our previous episodes, you know what to do. Head over to the YouTube channel of the Timeless Gamer Show, or just going to our website, timelessgamers.com. Or just listen to us talk by going to your favorite audio streaming platforms out there. And we'd like to take this opportunity to give thanks to BitMap and Streamyard for sponsoring this program. And of course, our shout out to our Retromancy cohorts, Shuffle Emporium and Studio.ph. And of course, a quick shout out to our friends at the Sega Mega Masters. Sir Dan, Sir Viraj, unfortunately cannot be here due to prior engagements. And of course, the people from the Retro Gamers and Collectors of the Philippines. Previously on the Timeless Gamer Show, what the hell did we talk about? It was all about no, we already did the racing episode previously. What was it? Lost track. Sir, you were there.
That's perfect. That's perfectly all right, because every single episode, the Timeless Gamer Show, we concentrate on how we are going to be bringing the most entertainment to all our audiences. So,
God.
Yeah, if you guys want to make sure about the previous episodes, you can always review it in our archives. They're always available on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitch.
Mm-hmm. How can we forget? It was our Halloween, special.
Yeah,
it was zombie. It was a zombie night. God damn it!
It was zombie night. Yes, it was Thriller night, Michael Jackson
night.
style. Yeah, but yes.
How can I forget Sir Jose's Onechan Bara Banana Split Edition? Man of culture, right there.
And I released the zombies.
Oh yes, and Miss Eileen. It turns out the mastermind behind all the zombie infestations was Miss Eileen.
Zombie tycoon.
Anybody forget that? But yeah.
All right. So for this episode, guys, we will be tackling the Yakuza, Like a Dragon, or is it Like a Dragon?
Like a Dragon Yakuza.
Yeah. Well, in Japan. In Japan,
Prime.
It's Ryuga Gotoku, which translates to like a dragon.
Like a dragon.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So it's the Amazon Prime season 1 series. We're gonna do a review about that show. So we have gathered the people here who just watched the show, and we're just gonna be having some exchanges on what we thought. And how are we going to grade the show as a show itself without heavily relying too much or comparing it to the games?
Screw that. I'm comparing it to the games like crazy, left and right.
Same.
This is going to be a spoiler episode, ladies and gentlemen. So if you have not watched Yakuza, then good for you. We're saying it right. We're saying it right then and there. Good for you. But if you are curious or just don't care about spoilers, you just want to listen to us talk and talk mad shit about it, feel free to stay. So for this evening, we got Sir Jose returning back to the show as a regular now. Yay.
Hey guys, Dark Gothic Fate here to talk some Like a Dragon Yakuza. I'm coming from the point of view of never having played any of the games, so my critique might be a little different from everyone else. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that, Sir Jose. And of course, Miss Eileen.
Hi everyone, welcome to Timeless Gamers. And I am coming from the perspective of having played the first Yakuza game, Yakuza Kiwami. I completed that, and also managed to play also the PS2 game. So that's where I'm coming from in this show.
All right. Thank you for that, Miss I. And of course, Sir Joel. Sir Joel Chan.
Uh, okay, anyway. Yes, this is Joel, a Banyaga native. I am going to be coming from the point of view of somebody who's already played 0 all the way into 3, currently going through 4 of Yakuza the games, and seeing if the Amazon Prime show is worth the budget that it put in for it, and is respectful of people who want to come in as gamers or people who want to come in as just mere viewers of something brand new. So yeah, I'm gonna be uncharacteristically harsh today. So back to you, Joe.
All right. Thank you for that, Sir Joel. And before we head to the show, let's do a quick show and tell, guys. In this segment, we are just going to show and brag our latest acquisitions for the last few days, whether it's physical, digital, games, toys, music, anything nerd culture related like. So, do you have any, Sir Jose? Up, and I think Sir Jose is on mute.
There we go.
There you are.
I was saying last time, I was saying how I was getting all these soundtracks in. So this week in the mail, I got my vinyl of the Hyperstone Heist.
Ooh.
And then I
Hyperstone
also
Heist?
got- yeah.
Vinyl.
And then I got the CD and cassette as well.
CD and the cassette. Oh my
Mhm.
god.
And then
That's a
for
true fan right there.
actual game, I just picked up Sea of Thieves. I've been meaning
Sea
to
of
try that,
Thieves.
so I'm gonna be a pirate pretty soon.
Sea of
But I guess-
Thieves. Where
I guess
where
I
did
guess
I hear that?
It comes full circle because aren't they making a pirate Yakuza game?
Yes,
Yes, they
There
are.
we go.
Thieves is
They are planning that, yeah.
Sea of Thieves is an MMOG originally on Xbox and has recently been ported to PS5, right?
Yes,
Jose? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
super popular.
Oh, is that a port or like a remaster?
It's I think it's a direct port.
Yeah, direct port.
Oh. Fancy.
All
All right. Thank you for that, Sir Jose.
Mhm.
How about you, Sir Joel? What you got?
Recently I haven't had much chance to order anything off of Amazon physical, but I did just get recently digital on Steam because it was on sale. I think the publisher has a sale right now. It's Akiba's Beat. It's been described as an RPG much like Yakuza, except on a tighter budget and with much more fan service. So I think I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Akiba's
All
Beat,
right.
and actually it's a twofer. Akiba's Beat and Akiba's Beat Undead and Undressed. I completely forgot.
Undead and Undressed.
Yeah. So yeah, digital and book wise, I'm still looking forward to getting the Lord of the Rings series from Easton Press, but that's gonna be down the line. I'll make that my Christmas present to myself.
All right. Thank you for that, Sir Joel Chan. For me, our local EV Games just went for their they're preparing for their Black Friday sale, and a few markdowns that I saw in their catalog. I got a Shin Megami Tensei for the PS5, and still sealed, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. Always a good thing if it's sealed. And I got Trails of Cold Steel 1 for the PS4. Used, but hey, that's fine. I don't want to unbox my Dauntless Edition release. And speaking of Sega, I got these 3 games from a guy from Facebook Marketplace this morning. Got Golden Axe 2, the Mega
Nice.
Drive Edition, HAL Edition. And you know what? I tried this one, and for some reason, Lady Tyrese boobs are bigger on this one. The Europeans ain't kidding around. And then,
They
of
want to make
course,
sure that they want to make sure that their children are well fed. Yeah.
well fed indeed.
Mm.
Lady Tyrese feeds a bunch of people. And of course, the legend of Thor, the story of Thor. Um, n- no manual, unfortunately. He gave me 65 because it's one of the classic action RPGs for the Mega Drive. He marked it down for 65 Australian dollars for this one, and of course, Fantasy Star 3,
Yes.
Generations of Doom for the Mega Drive.
Mm.
Still no manual,
Oh,
That's fine.
but he offered $80 for this one.
Mm. A very good price. Yeah.
So something for Sega. Speaking of Sega, we're talking about a Sega franchise. Let's close with Sega, and that's it for. How about you, Miss I? Do you have any?
I don't
Anything at
have
all?
any, nothing, unfortunately. Maybe next week.
Looking forward to that one. All right, guys. So that's a segment of show and tell. We will now proceed to Yakuza, the Amazon Prime live action season one discussion. So for this particular episode, we will be giving it to Sir Joel and Miss I. They will be co-captaining this. They will be the patriarchs. Let's talk Yakuza hierarchy here. They're gonna be the patriarchs of the episode. Let's give it to them. Talking about Yakuza.
All right. Let's start it off by actually, I in for this episode, we always designate for every episode of Timeless Gamer, we always designate what we call a show captain. So he or she is supposed to be leading the episode, making sure the discussion is lively and on point. And in this case, we are co-captaining the show, Miss Eileen and I. But I will defer always to Miss Eileen because in this instance, she has much more in-depth knowledge of the game and right now the Amazon Prime show. For let's begin. For the series of Yakuza Like a Dragon, brief overview. What is Yakuza Like a Dragon? Basically, it is a series of video games that started off way back in the PS2 era about the life and times of a man called Kazuma Kiryu, who used to be part of the Yakuza. What is the Yakuza? The Yakuza is the equivalent of the mafia in the West. It's a gangster group in Japan who deals in a lot of shady happenings, but they always do their best also to try to help out the community in their own certain way, kind of like an unofficial police force slash business underground cartel. Now, Yakuza focuses on Kazuma Kiryu, like I said, and how he has left the life of being part of that, but the life keeps drawing him back in. And one of the features of it is a city called Kamurocho, which is like a video game equivalent of an actual place in Japan called Kabukicho in Tokyo. It is a very busy district and lots of happenings there, which honestly become a part of the entire video game series. So it focuses on Kazuma Kiryu, it focuses on Kamurocho, and another side city called Sotenbori, if I remember correctly, in Osaka. And yes, it's a long-running video game series, a very well-loved video game series, and most recently has been translated into a television show, a miniseries on Amazon Prime. Miss Aline, could you add a little bit to that description?
What the? That's all I could add. I mean, Sergio has succinctly described what Like a Dragon Yakuza is. It's a video game series that Amazon Prime adapted, supposedly, but as the news articles came beforehand, they already told us that they weren't gonna follow exactly what happened in the game, and that some articles also said the actual creator of the Yakuza games had no direct involvement in the creation of this TV show. He was, I think, well, he was in the know of what was happening, but he wasn't consulted or anything. He just came at it from a, let's say, uh, onlooker from the outside. He really did not have any involvement in the development of the TV show. So let's see what this crap is all about.
Well, yeah, that is actually it was much to our chagrin when we first heard about it that the Amazon producers are not going to be following the video game plot line at all. They have made it very clear in their interviews that they were going to go in their own direction. And yes, we are going to be delving into the result of that chutzpah. Jose, do you have any input on what you know about Yakuza Like a Dragon so far?
I know of it just from I've seen Eileen play a little bit. I saw one of her VODs. She was playing the first one on PS2. I've seen other people play it. I've seen the memes. But beyond that, like I don't really know what it's about. Oh man, I should have brought it out. I haven't. I do have like some Yakuza swag. It's like a giant bag I got from E3
Oh, nice.
2007. I think it's Yakuza 6.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what it is. Yeah, so I just have it, but I don't know what it is.
Very
And
cool.
then
Actually,
I conveniently have this sticker next to me.
nice.
Oh, let's take a look at that. What is that?
Yep.
It's just
Hold it up, Jose.
Ah,
Awesome.
there.
Yung gagoto.
Actually, I would say Jose is the most emblematic of the audience that Amazon Prime is trying to target right now. Somebody who's never played the video games, somebody who is coming at it fresh, and we'll see what impact the show has had on Jose. Particularly, we know what the impact has been to us video gamers. But we'll see, video gamers of the video game series Yakuza. But we are curious about what Jose is going to be sharing as his opinion of the Amazon show. All right, so let's see. For the life of me, I can't read anything without my glasses anymore. I know it destroys the costume of the Kazuma Kiryu costume that I'm wearing right now, but I have to have my glasses if I'm going to read something. So let's start with the show. Miss Eileen, could you give us a brief rundown of? We know what Yakuza the game is. Could you give us a brief rundown of what the Amazon Prime show is all about?
I wasn't paying attention. I'm just joking.
Yeah.
I guess the audience already knows what direction I'm gonna go to from this point on. Well, they kind of started with, again, spoiler alert for all our viewers on the podcast, visually and on audio. We are gonna really give spoilers because we have seen all the 6 episodes. So this series starts with our heroes, Kazuma and Nishiki, and then also Yumi, as well as
Yeah,
Nishiki's
Miss
sister.
Eileen, before you jump into that, I completely forgot to do this. I apologize for that. Joe, could you give us a brief rundown? Sorry about that. Of the main characters we should be aware of in terms of the Yakuza, both the video game series and the Amazon Prime show. Who you feel are the people to really be aware of when you're either playing the games or watching the show?
In all seriousness, after watching the 6 episodes of Amazon Prime's own idea of Yakuza, the main guy that people should be really really should pay attention to, for me, the breakout star here would be the character Nishikata Akira. And why? The character who was the least interesting here to me, the least interesting character in this series was the main character, the main lead himself. Only because he's trying to emulate the character from the game, so much so that it kind of that it's kind of a detriment to him as well in regarding his acting range,
Hmm.
because he's trying to be so stoic, just like the main character from the games.
Hmm.
And we'll talk more about the other characters later on. But
Okay. Fine.
breakout star, or the breakout character here, uh, the actor Nishikata.
Mhm.
Uh,
All right. Well, yeah.
Nishikiyama. Uh,
Mm.
not to be confused with Takagi's husband, Nishikiyama
Mm.
Akira.
Okay, fine. If you guys didn't realize, Teasing Master Takagi is one of Joe's most favorite manga slash anime. Well, all right, Miss Eileen.
Be confused.
So Miss Eileen, Joe has given two important characters, Kazuma Kiryu and Nishiki, as people to focus on. Who do you think are other important people to focus on in terms of the video games and the Amazon Prime series?
Well, we cannot forget the one and only Goro Majima. Majima everywhere. But he
Mhm.
wasn't everywhere in the series. Like,
Mm.
what the I should have had the,
Joe's holding back his reaction. There you go.
what the I was planning on having a censored F word
Oh, you
placard,
know what?
but I didn't have time to make one.
To Miss Eileen's point,
Mm.
I went to YouTube and checked out because I didn't have the time to watch the Yakuza movie from years before, so
Mm.
I just watched the Goro Majima,
Yes.
all of the clips
Yeah.
put on together, and I'm like, where the hell was this character?
Right.
I mean, this was more faithful. That character from the movie is definitely Goro Majima, and I only played the games like from Zero, Kiwami 1 and Kiwami 2.
Mm.
So I haven't played 3, 4, 5, and 6
Mm.
yet.
Same.
And I'm like, and for the least amount of knowledge that I have about the franchise and the characters, that guy from the movie, this is Goro Majima. This,
Mhm.
this
Yeah.
is this is Majima incarnate. I don't know who the hell was that from the Amazon series though.
How about you, Jose? I'm kind of curious. As a pure Amazon Prime TV series viewer, who did you feel stood out among all the characters?
Um, I feel like what was his name? Kiryu and
Mhm.
Nishiki. There was a lot. Like, we're doing spoilers, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's
We've
go.
given the audience our spoiler alert. So if you are experiencing spoilers, it's your own damn fault. Anyway, continue, Jose.
So I thought it was because at first I was just like, oh, this guy kind of sucks. Like, I don't like him as a character. He's just always whiny and all this stuff. But then, like, at the end, when it comes full circle and it shows who he really is, I was like, what the
Mm. Which one? Which one are we talking about here?
and Nishiki.
Nishiki. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, like I think those two characters were my favorite, the ones that
Mhm.
stood out to me.
Okay. I'm going to go completely on a different direction here from everybody. Personally speaking, I feel like Date, the police officer,
Mm.
had the most going on in terms of what he had to deal with in terms of character, because of the fact that he had to
He had the most runtime. He had the most screen
yes.
time compared to the
Mhm.
main lead, and I'm like, might as well just you know what? Might as well just revolve the whole show around him.
Around Date. Yeah, I agree. I mean, the fact is, Date, the police character, is generally regarded as a side character slash mini protagonist in the video game series. He does factor in a lot of the plot lines, but in the television show, it's like he was almost the one carrying the entire series on his back with the way that he was making things happen in the background and I wasn't even quite sure that he was unaware of. Okay, spoilers. I'm not even quite sure that he was unaware of one of his men being under the pay
Under the
of the
payroll of the Dojima family.
exactly, yeah. So I'm not quite sure that he was unaware of it. I'm pretty sure he knew what was happening, with the fact that at the very final few scenes he was watching everybody beat everybody everybody else up. But yes, personally speaking, Date is my character of the show. All right, so let's continue. For those of you who are players of the video game series, you do know that the Yakuza Like a Dragon series revolves around the life of Yakuza, um, the Yakuza life, but it doesn't just feature the Yakuza life. There's many other things that you can participate in as a video game player. Miss Eileen, what can you say is the biggest what are the biggest plot points that differ in terms of the Amazon Prime show versus the video game series, as somebody coming away from that? And this question goes to you, Joe, the two of you. I would say throw out the biggest differences.
The actual reason why Kiryu actually got incarcerated
Mhm.
is very much different from the video game compared to the series. Like that was I would say the dramatic climactic intro of the first Yakuza games, and they changed it like that in the series. Like,
Right.
why did you adapt the game in the first place if you're gonna change that iconic moment? That was very cinematic. I enjoyed that the first time I saw the game, both on the PlayStation video game and the remake Kiwami. Like,
Mhm.
what did they do? They
What happens
bastardized it.
in the game that's
Mhm.
different?
No,
Yeah,
no, no.
indeed.
Spoilers about it. Let Jose know about it.
Yeah.
Let Joe tell the story then. Joe.
Yes.
Huh? Orewa? All right. A
Yeah,
few
but-
different.
Okay.
So if we are talking about the differences, and
Mm.
there were a lot, and
In
I
terms
can
of
pretty much
motivation.
tell.
Mhm.
Uh, Amazon didn't really have that much cash going on invested on this series. So if there's a few things that I can commend them on, they tried bringing the whole city of Kamurocho to life as much as they could. If anything, all they did it. For all of you guys who watch the Black Panther movie, they did it the Black Panther approach. Just capture the main entrance to the city, and then just choose one set piece. On this case, which is which was the Fountain Plaza, and then revolve your whole scenarios on that particular place. That's it. Um, ain't no burlesque, ain't no porn shops, ain't no pawn shops. Uh, uh, where are my homeless homies? Where they at?
Where's the goddamn bowling alley? Okay, I mean, I saw the bowling
The
alley
bowling
sign.
alley,
Where's the purgatory?
the batting
Where's the
cages.
purgatory?
Oh,
Mm.
the bowling and batting cages. They have the Club Sega here, but of course, Sega knew better not to touch this show with a 10-foot pole.
Mhm.
Their name is just there, okay.
It was the nipple catcher.
It's just there during the intro sequences, but Club Sega supposedly it's here, kind of. Um, you won't be seeing them playing Hang On. You won't be seeing them playing Outrun. Uh, None of that. Fuck
It
that.
became
I
that
mean,
outpost.
no. Not not even not even the softcore um, adult video watching. Ain't nothing on that. Where my t-shirts and where my lotions were. They were nothing to be found, and that's a very integral part of the game. right?
Actually, I can venture to say, Joe, that Kamurocho is its own character in the video game. It's a character in itself.
It's a character in itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, here they Amazon was like, okay, I'm only giving you $10,000. Do what you can with it, and we ain't gonna give you any cent more.
Well, actually, coming from the point of view of somebody who hasn't played the games, Jose, I'm curious. I know you're curious about the big difference in terms of motivation for Kiryu with having killed becoming the what's the term that they use, Oyagoroshi.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
Goroshi,
Oyagoroshi. How did it come
parent killer, basically.
with how Kiryu became the patricide guy in the series with trying to save Nishiki, somebody who has no idea hasn't really delved into the games. How did it come across to you? What impact did it have to you?
I don't know. Like, I'm like trying to think. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it. See, because like every time, the whole time watching this, I'm just wondering, like, how did it happen in the game? But then I knew you guys were like, it did not happen like that in the game. So, so I was like, I thought it seemed a little weird. Like everything just seemed a little weird, like the tiniest bit.
Okay.
But I was trying not to like look at it in the lights of knowing what I did know about the games, or like what you guys were saying. I was just trying to watch it, and show wise, I guess it works for other people. They probably get invested the way that he saved them and stuff like that.
Yes.
But I don't know. I feel like it could have been done better. Everything kind of seemed rushed.
Right? There you go.
Seemed rushed. That's the
That's
one
the
thing
word.
I will say.
That's
Everything
the word
seemed
here. Rushed.
It was just literally like honestly, we could have made this double the episodes and played it out a little longer, and everything just kind of like when they took them to the boss, they were just like right away like, let me join, and then it was like, oh, I killed this guy, oh, this. It's just like nonstop, like just I don't know. The show needed time to breathe.
And like
No,
I've
you're
mentioned this
right.
in our chats, and personally speaking, this is how I felt about the show. I mean, overall, it feels like somebody just speed ran the main plot line of Yakuza Kiwami and said, okay, I'm not reading any of the plot lines. I'm just going to punch my way through everything, and I'm just gonna throw in my own motivations at the very end of it, so that we've got a script. And it felt like that.
It felt like it feels like they kind of just went to the Wikipedia page for the franchise and just looked through the little paragraph for each game and was like, okay, I know the game already. Like, let's write a story around this.
Which is an egregious sin, if you ask me. Like going into the Yakuza series just with the Wikipedia article. That's like like Henry Cavill would say, Wikipedia. You use Wikipedia as your source of info. That's neither here nor there. Joe, I want to hear your thoughts on the difference in motivation for Kiryu. Miss Eileen already expressed her disappointment in motivation.
If I'm going to judging the Amazon series as a show in itself, all right. And I said this before in our group chats. I said this series can be faulted on making sure that it has a checklist of key points and characters that should be included so that there is some sort of resemblance from the game, but at the same time trying to make sure that the finished product can still be considered as its own thing. And I'm like, Kiryu, check. Nishiki, check. Majima, check. Kamurocho, check. The MacGuffin that's needed to be found, check. The Omi and the Tojo clan power struggle, check. Uh, the inner workings of the Dojima family, check. You know what I mean? And there were a few questionable motivations per each character. There's so many, and another thing is that there were so many subplots going on with this, that per each subplot that they're trying to introduce, only because they did it in the game, at least on the first couple of games, I guess, because there are so many subplots here that it kind of made the overall narrative so convoluted that by the time when we reach the final arc of things, like Sir Jose mentioned, everything felt so rushed. The series only has 6 episodes, y'all, for season one, and the showrunners, the writers, the people who are behind of this series is like, okay, we only have 6 episodes. Let's jam everything that we can here. Oh, just so you know, there's the Yakuza live action movie that came out years ago, and there's
Mhm.
also the Yakuza Broadway musical no, not Broadway, the musical, the Japanese musical
Stage
production,
play.
a
Mhm.
stage play that also came out years ago. And to me, the people behind the series is like, okay, the games are there, the movie is there, the stage play is there. What can we do to make this our own thing? Because to me, there when we got the news saying that, oh, this is going to be a loose adaptation of the franchise. Consider this as a bizarro world, or or a or an Earth 616 universe type of Yakuza, where everything turned out something different. Don't compare too much into the games. And I'm like, they're cheating in a way, because you can say it is your own thing, but you're going to be needing some of the key points that the players already knew about the game, so that you won't have to tell them what else to tell. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's like, they didn't mention anything about the Yakuza history, or they even try to explain the hierarchy behind the Yakuza system. Oh no, because we know that the gamers will be watching this. They should already know watching this, so we don't have to put that in the script. That's what I say when that's what I meant when I said they're cheating,
Mhm.
because um because they knew that the most of the watchers, the viewers of this series will be the gamers, and because the gamers already knew mostly the key plots of the first game and Kiwami, then they don't need to do anything else. You, the player, will just have to fill in the blanks that they're not doing, that they chose not to do, just to save some time, just to save some cash, just to save some effort. Then that's what I meant when I said they were cheating.
Actually, that's a very salient point. I want the discussion between Miss Eileen and Jose on this one. Miss Eileen, you to say I want you to elaborate on how it feels like as a video game player coming in, knowing, supposed to have known these elements of the show, versus Jose, who's coming in fresh. I want the two of you to express your opinions, in particular with regard to how.
Oh, can I add
Mhm.
one more thing? I
Yeah, go
feel
ahead.
sorry for Sir Jose,
Mm,
because um, let's just say Amazon is just go don't is only doing the season one, and
yeah.
they're not they're not going to be doing any more season two,
Hmm.
because they left out so much lore.
Hmm.
Then for people like Sir Jose, who don't have any lick of knowledge about the games,
Yes.
they kind of assumed that you're gonna be doing the homework
Hmm.
and reading up to some stuff, just so that you can understand what the hell was going on.
That's true. And in Miss Eileen's case and in Jose's case, I want you, Miss Eileen, to lay out the things that you found extremely troubling when you were watching the show. And I want Jose to respond saying, was it something that he enjoyed or was it something that he found disconcerting? Go. Go ahead, Miss Eileen.
How much time do we have?
Oh, we got time.
Because I actually don't know where to start. Because
Start from the very
there,
beginning. Like it said in The Sound of Music, a very good place.
You know what? Start from Kiryu. Start with the main guy himself.
Yes. Mhm. Go ahead, Miss Eileen.
I want to
so should we
be.
start with
I
with
I want to be the dragon of Dojima.
Kiryu never would say something like that. No. Mm-mm. Nah, Game Kiryu would never say something like that. Miss Eileen, go
Yeah.
ahead.
like where did that come from? Honestly, but again, I just think I will go back to the motivation of killing Kiryu, killing Dojima.
Mhm.
So sorry, Jose, for the spoilers.
No, it's
No.
So
Jose
for
asked
the
you, actually. Jose wants to know the game
was it the
motivation.
word?
I'm sorry. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sorry if I'm interrupting. Did
Mm.
the show ever refer to that guy as Dojima? I don't remember. I thought, Sir Jose, in the games when someone's being introduced, they do
Yeah.
it. They kind of did it like Suicide Squad style, like freeze frame and then the name and then
Yes.
what's the affiliation. They did
Yes.
it. They did it like that, so that at least you know who the hell is this guy in the series, guys.
Nada.
Mm-mm.
Did they
Actually,
ever
that's
mention the
no.
name of that guy as Dojima? Did they ever refer to him as Dojima?
That's taken from old Japanese television shows, by the way, that they would freeze frame and they would have a short description of who the person is and how he relates to everybody else. Jose, do you remember that happening?
no.
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 Mhm.
No, a lot of the names were like just kind of flew over my head. Like
Mm.
a lot of the times I
Yeah.
didn't know who was who.
Mhm.
True.
See?
Miss Eileen, go ahead. How, from the point of view of the video game player watching a television show based on her beloved franchise, you said Kiryu, major differences. Go ahead. And how does Jose feel about having watched it fresh? Go ahead, Miss Eileen.
So I really felt like Kiryu in the TV show is actually out of character because, like Sir Joel said earlier, he would never say, "I want to be like the Dragon of Dojima," and like, where did that even come from? And like an article, a review I read about, uh, a review of the show said it's like the series is gaslighting you, and you are questioning yourself with your knowledge of the lore, and you're like, "Did this happen?
Gaslighting.
What happened? Is this
Mhm.
really it? Is this that's really what how I felt like I'm questioning what did this happen? Oh no, this isn't the game that I remember. It's not. I wouldn't say it's based from the video games. It felt like fan fiction. Really, it doesn't feel like an adaptation. So
All
Kiryu
right.
is out of character, and even the motivation for the part of he was supposed to lose in that battle in the arena.
Mhm.
So again, spoiler alert, Nishiki was supposed to poison or at least I forgot
A drug.
what you call that term, but
Mhm.
a drug Kiryu so that he
Or
loses the fight.
lace his
So
drink, shall we say. Mhm. Spike his
oh,
drink. Mhm.
Roofie.
the spike
Oh,
is there.
fine.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Rufy.
Roofie.
Thank you for the terms.
It makes
He
That's
sense
the
was so
adult
about
Nishiki
it,
was
right?
supposed to
That's
lose.
Roofie.
So Nishiki was supposed to spike Kiryu's drink because Kiryu has been having winning streaks in the underground battle arena.
Mhm.
That is so. I wasn't really paying attention. So the Yakuza, I forgot which family is supposed to help Nishiki with the organ transplant of his sister.
Mhm.
So that was the deal. But then Yumi found out and saw Nishiki putting the drug in Kiryu's water
I believe
bottle.
I
And then
believe the family
when
was I believe it was Shibusawa. Which, oh my god, that's Shibusawa. It was a
they don't,
Shibusawa
even the
family.
families don't look like who they are in the games. And just a quick insert, Shimano, what the hell? He's a very hard to beat boss in the video games, both Kiwami and PS1 original game. And he looks like this simpleton in the game, and just some, the what they call back then the Yankees with the Sakuragi hairstyle. He doesn't look daunting like the
Of
video
course.
games where he beats
Yeah.
your ass. He's a tank bald dude, and this looks like I said in the chats, Lito Lapid from afar. It doesn't look like bald Yakuza. So then, back to the quick story. Nishiki then told uh, Kiryu the truth of spiking his drink, and that he should lose so that his sister could get the transplant. And as Kiryu was losing, at the end, he threw a knockout uppercut, and it's like out of character for Kiryu because he is actually a selfless person despite being a Yakuza. He wouldn't do that. If it was game Kiryu, he would actually lose. He wouldn't throw that uppercut punch. So
How about
that is the betrayal part. There was double betrayal here
Mhm.
with Nishiki spiking the drink and Kiryu actually winning the fight.
How about you?
Kiryu at best is a chaotic good character.
Mhm.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, that's
Hmm.
true. That's true.
More chaotic good.
How about you, Jose? How did that scene come across to you? His motivation as somebody who going into the Yakuza and then trying to balance off, trying to become part of the Yakuza family as opposed to trying to save this other character, Miho. There you go. How did that come across to you?
Um, I felt like it was kind of like a selfish move.
Mhm.
That whole scene in particular was a little weird. It was just like because when he goes to try to like tamper with his drink, he's like not even like secretive about it. He's like I don't know how like what this happens in the thing, but I was like, what the hell? Like everyone can see you. Like I was like in the I forget her name, but Yumi. She was the
Yumi.
only one who
Yes,
saw him. And then he's like straight up telling him like, you have to lose in front of everyone. And I'm like, is no one listening? Like,
Right?
I'm like, what?
Oh
the
my
fuck?
god.
Like,
Okay.
it's not like he went to his. It's not like he whispered and was like, "Hey, you need to lose.
Mhm.
Who's gonna die?
Yeah.
I need you to lose for real."
People can
Like,
listen to you talk,
he's
you know?
literally like, "You need to lose. Hey, you need to lose. You need to lose."
Yeah, that like nobody who has money on Kiryu would just hear that and say, "What the are
Yeah.
you doing, man?" Anyway.
Okay. So we're talking about the Fight Club.
Yes.
The Fight Club situation now.
yes.
All right. Okay. This is just me, and I'm judge and the words I'm going to say right now is I'm judging it through the narrative style of the series. Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
So so Kiryu was training so that in his mind, if he wins this tournament, they will have enough prize money
Mhm.
to treat Miho,
Yeah.
Miho's kidney transplant. Okay,
Mhm.
and like Miss I mentioned, he's getting too strong, having this winning streak. The Dojima family thought that okay, if he loses, then they'll take advantage of it. They'll gain more by betting against him should he lose. So they want him to take a dive. Okay, and they approach Nishiki to do the job by by putting some roofie in his in Kiryu's drink. Okay, and I'm like, okay, for me, if the ultimate goal here was Miho's kidney transplant, then Nishiki could have just approached Kiryu right from the start, the night before the fight. Dude, this is the plan. The boss wants this, 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 this. uh, we 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 will we'll get more cash should you just take a dive, make it more believable. We'll get the cash. We'll get Miho's transplant. See, that's simple. With Kiryu, uh being the guy that we know that he is, he would just agree to it. I mean, just and he can always win the Fight Club anytime that he wishes. At this point, he's already unstoppable with uh not for the lack of trying. I mean, there were a lot of montages of him training, just behind the clothes hangers. I mean, that's all he does. And apparently, just by doing this all the time, makes you a prize fighter all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
So
I have longer
if
tomorrow. I'll try that.
if they knew the end goal of this, none of this could have happened. I mean, none of the drama, none of the drama was supposed to happen. But of course, we needed some drama. We needed some unnecessary drama at this stage because um, I'm trying not to instill some of the game's plot points in here. I'm just saying that. Uh, they could have gone with this some other route. And Sora says, right. Nishiki was told, okay, do it. Just make sure you don't get caught. Fuck. 3 seconds later, he's doing this. He's putting the roofie in the drink, and and Yumi was like, "The fuck are you doing?" and and then she like, "Oh fuck this, dude! You need to lose." What? Well, what? I cannot hear you with all of these people screaming at me, asking, trying to tell me I should win. No, dude, the plan is for you to lose because winning is not enough to get the prize money for Yumi's transplant. So, again, if I'm not making myself clear enough, you should take a dive. Son of a bitch. All right, continue, guys.
Alright. I, I at this point I would like to interject a little something about this thing in my background, Camorocho. It as I've said earlier in the show, it is a complete character in and of itself. Now, Miss Eileen and John knows about this because the thing about Camorocho is there's so many things to do, to see, to enjoy. Not just the main plot line in Yakuza, which is a heavy crime drama story, but the thing about Kamurocho is there's so much to experience, so much to do, so much to enjoy, so much to experience. And it felt like, personally speaking, you didn't get to see any of that in the television show. There were little snippets, like at the very end of it, it felt like, oh my god, we didn't put any of it in almost any of the game inside of the TV show. Let's put Kiryu, standing around with a sign, saying "fight me for money" or something like that. Fight me and I'll pay you, or something like that. That is something that actually happens in the game. There are people there who are standing around saying, fight me, and if you beat me, I'll give you money. So that's one thing.
In the Fountain Plaza, because
Mhm.
God forbid, that's all Kamurocho was. That
Mhm.
that just piece of land. That's it.
Mhm.
Oh, you want?
Let
Oh,
me-
you want to take a tour of the whole city? Oh,
Mhm.
fuck that! You ain't getting none of that. The
Shh.
Fountain
The
Plaza.
360,
That's
that's
it.
it.
That's all you get.
Let me ask you, Jose, as the Amazon Prime TV show viewer, did that come across to you? Like the city itself, did it feel like its own character, or was it just some place to be?
It just seemed like some place to be. It seemed like it was doing that thing that old TV shows used to do, where they would have like the central hangout point,
Mm.
and you would
It's like
have
center.
like
It's like Central Perk
yeah,
for
I
friends.
like
was thinking
I don't know.
that.
I don't know if you guys ever watched.
They're always there.
If you guys watched Saved by the Bell back in the day,
Which one?
Saved by the Bell.
Saved by
Saved
the
by the
Bell.
Bell. Yes. Mhm.
So it was either the Max or the school.
Yes.
And maybe occasionally you'd get a classroom, someone's room, but it was always those two focal points.
Yeah.
And that's what it was for the show. It was they were always conveniently at this fountain.
Mhm.
No,
Yeah, that's
no,
true.
Sarah's right. All of the important dialogue and all of the important things that are happening. Well, most of it, most of the important dialogue and the most important key points all happen in that freaking Fountain Plaza.
Yeah, that's true. They didn't. They. It's like Joe says. It's almost like they didn't have any other budget to reconstruct any other parts of Kamurocho. They didn't even have Kiri or Nishiki go bowling for recreation or go to the batting cages. Even
They could
one.
have just rented a place, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Could have just gone and they rented a batting cage. Show that
Yes.
Miss Eileen. I know we've experienced Kamurocho extensively. What makes you enjoy Kamurocho as a character, as a city?
The people.
I would say everything about it. And I'm sorry about being detailed, and I'm gonna
Yeah,
use
go
the
for it.
2007 movie to dump on this fucking series because the
There it
2000
is.
There it was. We're
Go
gonna
ahead,
use
my
that.
Miss
first
Eileen.
F bomb ever.
I want to hear Miss
Because
Eileen's
the
rant on this.
2000
Let's hear.
Go.
so the
Rant.
2007 movie only has like 2 hours, and it like got the character of Kamurocho in it. So, like we said, the Amazon series only has the Fountain Theater Park or whatever you call it. I forgot. The 2007 movie, it has, it starts with Popo, the Lawson incarnate, what you call this, the convenience store. And then
Yeah.
after that,
Popo.
so this is a spoiler for the 2007 movie. It jumps next to Don Quixote, the store. They did not get the actual copyright for the name, so they used Sancho Nante instead. But still, it got the vibe of Don Quixote with all the what you call this, all the items being sold and all the colorful labels for sale or how much the items are. And then there's also the ramen store or the beef bowls restaurant.
Mhm.
And then also it has Stardust. Where is Stardust? Oh, yeah, where is Stardust in the Amazon
The
Prime
nightclub.
series?
Yes.
Where? Right? And there is the batting cages. It has the batting cages where
Oh no.
a battle actually happens with
Hang on,
Goro
guys.
in it.
Let's be fair. Serena was there.
It has to be. If it wasn't, then why even bother to call Yakuza?
Yes.
Serena
Yakuza.
was there.
Yeah.
True.
The bar Serena was there.
Mhm.
Yes. And there's also the pharmacy. It actually has the pharmacy in the. Sorry, it has been a while since I played, but it's in the upper right part of the map, middle
Mhm.
part of the map, where you get the Stamina Royale, the best energy drinks. And you can actually see in the 2007 movie, hear you in the middle of a fight, downing a
Oh yeah, there
Stamina
you
drink.
go. They didn't even bother to show a bottle anywhere of Stamina or Tauriner in the
Yes.
Amazon Prime series. Go ahead, Miss Eileen.
So the 2007 captured not only the arc of the Kamurocho and not only the fountain, but also the different elements of it, and even the part with the bar where it's the small square part of the map with the narrow alleys. I'm really sorry I could not describe this
That's
properly,
fine.
but
That's fine.
if you know that bar, it has the narrow alleys, and the game, not the game, the 2007 movie captured the essence and the vibe of the map very well, I would say. So if you really want a feel of Kamurocho, go to the 2007 movie because you will feel it is Kamurocho, definitely.
Mhm.
And considering it was an old movie and this one is prime, like where did the budget go? They couldn't actually properly make a something in the side of the street. Or they could have gotten a better skilled props department. Sorry, props department. So there. If you want
let me ask,
Kamurocho, 2007 movie it is.
let me ask Jose about this. Jose, did any of it make sense to you? The plot line, the characters, the motivations, why they were doing what they were doing. Overall, in the 6 episodes that you've watched, as a regular viewer, coming in, as an average Joe coming into the television show, did any of it make sense to you?
When the show first started off, I was just like, or in the first episode, I was like, what's going on? Like, I was like, I have no idea what's going on. These people are, what they're doing, why they want this money, and then going on, some things made sense, but like, you didn't really have time to like think about it. Like I said, like it just felt everything felt rushed. It felt like they were throwing so much at you. There was so much stuff going on at times, and then I'd get confused too because I was jumping back and forth between timelines. So I'd be like,
yes.
wait, I was like, where?
Yes.
There's a
where
time
are
jump.
we?
Very bad.
And then I like I said, I just show so many people, and I'd be confused about who's who.
What timeline are we in now?
Yes, I was always like, wait, are we 95 or are we 2005?
Mhm.
So, for the most part, I could follow along, but there's a lot of stuff that I was like, wait, what's this? And okay, well, this makes me want to look it up and see what really happened in the game, because I feel like I'm missing some more information as to what I'm supposed to be feeling, or what I'm supposed to already have known.
Okay. And another person who has very strong opinions on this, Joe, I'd like to hear your take on it. As watching the television show, did it make sense at all to you?
No. Okay.
No.
So, all right. I'll try to dissect this one by one, because again, this show didn't exactly knew what it was. With the stage play, they knew what it was. With the movie, they knew what this was. With the series, I'm not sure they knew what this was, what they were doing. So, all right, so Kiryu just got out of the slammer so he served time 10 years, getting out for killing his Yakuza patriarch. Yeah.
Yes.
And then so his so what's his overall purpose here? Number one, find to find out, to help Date and the commercial police department to solve the missing 10 billion that
Yeah.
got stolen from the Omi Alliance. Number two, help them find out who is responsible for the serial murders.
Mhm.
And
Where did that come from?
and number three, try to settle things with Nishiki. Okay.
Mhm. Yes.
So that's just him. Okay. Subplot number one, with Yumi and her sister. Okay, which kind of ties up with a $1 billion theft anyway. And then we got Miho, because God forbid we need a reason, because she's the overall reason why things got so haywire for all of the for the main protagonists anyway. They had to show why she was served as a her main duty, her main responsibility for the movie was to become the ex machina plot device, the overall anchor that made the change for all of the protagonists that we have right here. So in this, she needs to die, okay, because of subplot number three, Nishiki's fall from grace, from the ever so loving goofball that he was 10 years ago, and this very stoic boss character that he
Mhm.
is. Because apparently, the more serious I act,
the more older I look.
That kind of shit. Okay. And so uh, and of course the subplots revolving the Tojo clan and the Omi alliance, which never really which kind of barely scratched the surface on why they are warring in the first place. Okay, they didn't really dwell much on that. It was to Sir Jose when most likely when the terms were just tossed out, Tojo clan, Omi alliance. What the hell is that? well, what are those? Am I supposed to care? I mean, what are those? Did they explain that? None of that. They didn't explain none of that. What else? Um, uh, Ma- Even Majima's involvement in this, and I'm like, if I take away all of Goro Majima's involvement in this show, nothing will change at all in the overall narrative of the story. Whether he's there or not, we will still get the same ending. We will still get um, the same final arc of the series. It was a They really didn't give him too much to do. Because why? Because Amazon just had a checklist. As long as this person is there, this person is here. Um, it's not a yakuza. If Majuma's not there for people to jack over, he's just there. Okay, he didn't do shit. All right. Like Sir Jose mentioned, because they were rushing things. You really didn't understood the character of Goro Majima as a as a whole, because they only had 6 episodes in this. They didn't give him that much of a like a story arc or a redeeming arc or whatever. Not even. I would guess, like, correct me if I'm wrong. His total involvement in this, his total screen time here will be just 20 minutes at
Yeah, pretty
best.
much.
Yeah.
At best. All right, and each episode is like 40 minutes long.
Mhm.
Okay,
Never at
uh,
best.
right, and yeah, there are a few more. Even Kazama's involvement in this in the series. Um, they didn't really mention why he's there, or he was just introduced as the ex Yakuza
Mhm.
member of the Tojo clan. Oh, speaking about the clans, and I'm not sure if Sir Jose will attest to this. Is that, like I mentioned before, they really didn't fleshed out or at least explained the history behind the Tojo clan and the Dojima family and all that.
Mhm.
And correct me if I'm wrong, because I watched the actual Amazon Prime feed in my TV. So what I'm getting was the actual subtitles coming from Amazon Prime. I didn't watch the one the ones online, the
The
hard
fan
sub,
subs. Okay.
the
Mhm.
fan subs. All right. So in the Amazon Prime subtitles, they keep referring Dojima like as a separate clan. So you got your Omi Alliance, you got your Tojo clan, and they keep referring Dojima as a clan as well. And I'm like, why? Because to those who are familiar, Dojima is just a subdivision of the Tojo clan,
Yes. Mhm.
and because we're skipping 10 years from the past to the present of the series setting anyway.
Mhm.
At first you're like, okay, so we're because in 1995 we are featuring the Dojima side of things, and then 10 years after we are featuring the Tojo clan of things, and the series didn't really give that much of a separation between them. They didn't really give much of a distinction or explain that, oh, Dojima is just a subdivision of the Tojo clan. In one of the episodes, they were like, oh, um, Kazama was there trying to negotiate with the chairman of the Omi Alliance, right?
Oni, yes.
And one of the terms was, okay, uh, I Kazama, ex member of the Tojo clan, will suggest that we will going to dissolve the Dojima family.
Mhm.
And to those people who are watching the show, and they're like, what's the authority of Tojo clan
Mhm.
to decide that?
Yes.
Why? Because the show didn't mention any distinction, any relationship between the Tojo clan and the Dojima family.
Yes. It's true.
They, the name, the title, they just mention it in passing, but they didn't really mention anything about the relationship between the families, right? Because in 1995, you only see the Dojima people, uh, the Dojima family main headquarters and all of its people, and then 10 years passed in 2005. Now you're on the Tojo clan headquarters with the other heads of the family.
Yes.
And to those people who are watching the show, I'm like, okay, who are these people then?
Mhm.
Why? Because the series didn't give you that much explanation. Who are these people? And
There's
again,
you've got
again,
six whole episodes
they
of
didn't
full
give much.
elaboration.
They didn't elaborate that on much on the
Yes.
on the hierarchy and the system of and the relationship of the actual clan, the clan leader and the different patriarchs. They didn't explain that much.
This is
They
I
spend
think
too
this
much
is a
time
good
on the clothesline.
go sorry, Miss Eileen.
They spend too much time on the clothesline.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Wait. Okay, stop. The clotheslines have more screen time than Goro Majima, and that says
Agreed.
a lot
Yeah,
about the
that's
show.
true. That's true. All right, I think this is a good place to have to stop for a moment and say thank you to our sponsors and partners. But before we do that, while Joe cues it up, I just wanted to say one very egregious fault that the Amazon Prime series did, and we'll continue this right after our commercial break. Haruka, they chose to they it's like they didn't even bother to audition any cute pretty little girls because
Oh
spoiler
my
alert,
god!
in the future Haruka becomes an idol. Here in the Amazon Prime series, she doesn't look anything like somebody who would grow up to be a beautiful woman. She's just sorry.
She's just there.
I know how
Brat.
girls look because I know my not in that way. Okay. I mean, I know how pretty girls will grow up to be because I've seen how my kids' friends are. And as they grow, you can see in the future how they are going to be lookers. And in this instance, I'm sorry to have to say, but the person they chose as Haruka doesn't look like she's going to be growing up to be an idol at all. But we'll discuss that more after our commercial break. Joe, take us away.
Yeah, before the FBI starts knocking.
I know.
Start your own online live streams, webinars, podcasts, online classes, and virtual presentations with Streamyard. By using Streamyard's user-friendly interface, you can also do simultaneous multi-streaming if you have accounts to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and other platforms. If live streaming is not your style, video and audio recordings are also available, especially with those who have variable and inconsistent internet connections. The finished output will still come out as clear and well articulated exactly as you originally intended. You can also customize the appearance of your presentation, like green screen effects, facial touch-ups to smoothen out those facial blemishes, multiple cameras for multiple guests joining in the discussion, your own wallpaper on the background, adding your own logo as a watermark, sharing videos from your own computer or other website for added visual aids with or without audio, uploading your own background music if you wish to set the mood when talking, and lots more. Before you can enjoy all of the wonderful full features of StreamYard, you can start with a 14-day free trial by using our link. Not only that you are supporting the Timeless Gamer Show, but you can see it for yourself how easy it is using StreamYard. Do you like playing video games? Do you like reading about history? Do you like learning about video game history? Then you should give yourself the gift of owning some video game history books from BitMap. Since 2014, BitMap Books have published numerous colorful and well-detailed hardbound books about video games ranging from the different video game consoles of old and the various video game genres that will surely pique the interest of its core fanbase. BitMap's team of global video game journalists, players, and illustrators have produced numerous award-winning titles that celebrate the software, hardware, and developers that laid down the foundations for the billion-dollar video game industry we all know and love today. International shipping is also available with careful and considerate packaging from BitMap Books. If you don't want to take my word for it, then you can believe the people, almost 10,000 satisfied customers who submitted their glowing written reviews and video reviews after receiving their books from BitMap. By ordering your first BitMap book using our link, you will also be supporting the Timeless Gamers Show in spreading our love of video games and their rich history.
All right, we're back. And to continue the discussion, that is going to land me on some FBI watch lists. Haruka. Okay. All right. Now, the fact is, one of the central motivations of Kazuma Kiryu is the fact that he's met this young kid called Haruka and her search for her mother, and how she is central to finding the 10 billion yen, if I remember correctly, in the original Yakuza game. The thing about it is Haruka serves as a pivotal point for Kiryu, which gives him the motivation of something to live for, something that he wants to become protective of. Haruka growing up to become a person who he wants to be able to take care of, and that actually serves as his drive in replacing his left behind life of being a yakuza and his best friend Nishiki turning on him. That is one of the most important things of the Yakuza storyline in terms of the video games. Was that something that came across to you, Miss Eileen, in the Amazon Prime television show?
Well, for me, it didn't actually feel like that because there was already familiarity with Kiryu and Haruka because she is already with Yumi, and they know that her mother is actually Aiko in this series. But in the video game series, we see that Kiryu meets Haruka in Kamurocho, and there's like a foundation of friendship that grows in the video game series. But here in the Amazon Prime adaptation, it doesn't feel like that. I didn't feel that, like you said, someone Kiryu would be protecting in the future. Well, he will protect in the series, of course, in the Prime series, but it doesn't feel like the same way in the video game. It's quite different.
Did you
It's
feel
like
did you feel like it was beneficial to Kiryu's character not to focus on that, or was it detrimental to it?
it was detrimental because their friendship is like a something core to the lore of Yakuza, the foundation of the story. So it doesn't really help the story that they kind of changed it in this regard because, well, she already has Yumi here, so they already know her mother, and there's no common goal to search for her mother, and that difficulty, the when you are both in the same hardship, you become closer. It doesn't feel that way in this Prime adaptation.
Jose, as a television watcher of the Amazon Prime series, did it come across at all how important Haruka is going to be to Kazuma Kiryu?
No, because even whenever they said that she ran away, they were just like, "Oh, she ran away," and then they were like, "Okay."
Okay.
Whatever.
That's literally what Kiryu did.
Anyway.
Just like,
What
okay,
else?
like,
Oh no! Oh
It
no!
wasn't
Oh no!
like-
She ran
it-
away.
right,
Bad.
right? Like, if like if
Anyway.
your kid runs away, you're like, "Oh shit! Like, where'd they go? You need to go here, here, and here." He was just like, "Okay, like, what do you want me to do with that?" So I did not get that at all.
As a television viewer who saw the development of Kazuma Kiryu from episode 1, did it feel like somehow there's some kind of, well, you saw how Kiryu rescued Haruka from the explosion in the manga cafe. From there, was there any indication at all to you that this was going to be something important to Kiryu going forward?
Not really. Like, I didn't even know like what he was doing there or how he even knew that little girl was there, because she's hiding and then he's just there and it's like, okay, like, conveniently, like, where was he right before this? Like, it didn't really, I don't know, his show was all over the place.
Agreed. And Joe, I know you have very strong opinions on how Haruka factors into Kiryu's life. I compare their relationship in the video game to the Amazon Prime show. What are you doing?
All right. And this is just talking about the show. The kid didn't really serve the purpose in the overall scheme of things. If there's one thing that they gave her something to do, was just to get kidnapped. And Sarah is right. So she ran away. Okay. But in in their defense, they didn't really give them that much of time looking for her, because they already got a call. They already got the call right immediately from Nishiki. Dude, I got the girl. Come to the tower with the money. We'll do an exchange. That's it. So Haruka's gone, and Yubi's like, "Where she went?" And babysitter was like, "I don't know." And then Kira's like, "What happened?" She gone. Oh shit. Where we go? I don't know. Nishiki rings in. Dude, I got a girl. You got the money? you got the money? Let's do an exchange. Kira's like, cool. That's it. So they really didn't give that much of. So there was still sense of urgency for them to look for her, because again they were rushing so much. Ain't nobody got time to do a to look around all over the city just to look for her. Unlike with the games because in the games, Kiryu was a little bit more methodological about finding Haruka every freaking chance that she gets kidnapped. Like in the game, like she got kidnapped like 4 times. She got kidnapped in the game like 4 times, and for each time, Kiryu had to go all hoops and ladders just to find her. Okay, talking to a bunch of people. Did that happen here? No, it did not. Amazon's like, okay, let's just save you. Let's save the viewers some trouble. Okay, let Nishiki just call him right immediately. Just deal with the shit. In regarding with the character development here, as far as Kiryu is concerned, not much was there's not really much of a character development with Kiryu on the 10-year skip. Most of his character development, or lack thereof, came from during the timeline of 1995, when they were starting out in the Dojima family. 10 years after, Kiryu's just like Kiryu's main responsibility, main job in the time skip was like, you know, act all serious, act all
Mm.
tough,
Mhm.
fight some guys,
Mm.
look at the distance, all serious, always getting a cigarette. That's all. Light out a
Mm.
cigarette, man spreading. That's all. And you know what? If there's one thing that they got it right from the game is Kiryu man spreading. Am I
Mm.
wrong? Am I wrong? Man spreading, you know how especially in Kiwami, like you see Kiryu sitting down, and the way he sits down, his legs are so spread apart.
Mm.
Yeah, they did it here, and I'm like, yep, that's attention to detail right there. If I'm gonna grade you, I'm gonna give you an extra grade just for one thing they got it right, the man spreading. Okay.
Fine. But here's one thing I really want to ask Miss Eileen, as a video game player and as the somebody who watched the show. Did the relationship and betrayal between Kazuma Kiryu and Nishiki make sense in terms of the Amazon Prime show? Their development as being part of Sunflower Orphanage, going forward into the Yakuza. Yeah, Kiryu's becoming the fall guy for Nishiki. Did it make sense as a storyline arc going forward?
So I'm gonna look at this objectively in the point of view for just for the Amazon Prime series.
All right.
It kind of felt weird because they were essentially brothers from childhood, and
Mhm.
when they were betraying each other, it's like, where did that brotherhood go? They could just in a snap like that, they would betray each other. Well, Kiryu kind of like I said earlier, but Nishiki would, even for his sister, he would easily do that to Kiryu. Like they did not have those years together.
Mm.
It doesn't make sense. And then later on, Kiryu just when he saw the aftermath of Nishiki killing Dojima,
Mm.
even after what happened, he still was okay. I'll take the fall for it. And we know in the game when that happened, Nishiki's sister was still alive. So in the game, it was like, I'll take the fall because your sister still needs you. This time, your sister was already dead. So why did he have to take the fall for Nishiki killing Dojima? Like, what's the logic there? I don't understand. Just for the sake of it? Why? Why? Really? Because Nishiki betrayed him first. So what was this for? What was the purpose of him taking the fall?
Mm.
Really, I don't understand. And considering Nishiki is, oh, does he already know? No, so he doesn't know he's the demon yet. But then, yeah,
Mm.
the taking the fall wasn't rational, I would say.
Mhm. Okay. Jose, did Nishki's and Kazuma Kiryu's relationship make sense to you as a television viewer?
I mean, kinda like there was that, they grew up together, but like Eileen was saying, they did kind of he did kind of just like turn on him like right away. Even after taking the fall for him, you think like, oh, they would be good. Like, he when he was younger, he was always worried. Like you could see that he was just whiny and always worried about everything. And this big thing where he killed the boss, and he's basically either dead or whatever. And one of his best friends takes the fall for him, and it still isn't enough. He still continues to betray him and go against him. So that seemed a little weird. Like I could get like the whole like blaming him because of the sister, but like he basically like went and saved his life at this point, and just wasn't enough. I don't know. It's just, I guess he's got like a lot of pent up hatred.
Mm. Well, I mean, coming from the video games, you do realize that you would realize that coming into the show that Nishiki and Kazuma Kiryu had a very deep relationship right from the get go. They grew up in the orphanage. They both idolized Kazuma, and they both wanted to emulate him, and they viewed themselves as brothers right from the get go. It was an extremely deep bond between the two of them, and that's why the ultimate betrayals in the video games made for very deep feelings for the players. And I'm not quite sure that came across in the Amazon television show. I mean, Joe can refute me on this, but tell me I'm wrong, Joe. Tell me I'm wrong about how the difference is between the television show and the video game in terms of motivation and brotherhood.
The very idea of Nishiki hating on Kiryu was stupid. All right. No, because by the end of the day, they knew who the main. It was a misprojection of anger,
Mhm.
because by the end of the day, they knew the people who are responsible for this anyway. So to me, why are you hating on Kiryu? I mean, because strip away everything, he was only doing what he thought was right. He was doing something that he only thought was going to help. Okay. Who was who was the mastermind of the dive anyway? It was Dojima, not
Mm,
him. Hear
yes.
you? Yeah, sure. Okay. Um, say what you will about the outcome of the fight. Um, but by understanding what happened with the whole kidney transplant thing, where the organ came from, the organ broker, and the way they were set up to believe that um, that um, that Nishki's kidney will not be a match for Miho to begin with, and I rewinded. I rewound that episode. I'm like, who said who actually said that they were not a match. And because there's so many characters here, like so many scrub characters here. there it kind of got lost in the translation, who said who. Right? Sarah say will can back me up on this, because because who said who, and who said what. and and I'm like, who did say? I was sitting there, kind of think of it. Who did say that they were not a match? And I'm thinking, was it the doctor? I mean, if you're the doctor, you won't even say that. um, and then it was later revealed that no, you were a match, you were a match in the start. I mean, I have no idea why you're going all this trouble if somebody just told you that. So, and I'm like, okay, it was someone from the Dojima family, apparently, who instilled that idea that they were not a match. Okay, and okay, Nishiki, being the gullible guy that he was, he just believed that without it. And I'm like, I was trying to give it the benefit of the doubt, and I mean, like, you were already there at the hospital, you were already talking to the doctor, and I'm like, and I'm like, I kind of gave it the excuse that, okay, the information about him not being a match. I thought at first that it was the doctor who told him that in the beginning anyway,
Hmm.
right? And then but as the things went on, it was revealed to us that, yeah, they were a match in the first place. And I'm like, okay, so we because we're nurses, me and Miss Eileen, with transplant procedures, all of this information should be coming from the doctor anyway. they going to explain all of the procedures, and I'm like, so who the hell was Nishiki talking to in regarding with the procedure? uh you know what I mean? I mean, it got uh, the way the story progressed about that, it just didn't make sense. I mean, uh who uh who told him that misinformation in the first place? So yeah, the so like I mentioned, it's just a it was it, the project Nishiki was just projecting his anger, and even him becoming the slasher. And I'm like, okay, so what's the motivation here? Being the slasher, okay. So you want to rise within the ranks of of the clan, and then you what? What's the end game here? Try to destroy the whole clan with within the insides. So what's the whole end game here? Killing everyone who has no connection to what happened to your sister in the first place. You know what I mean? I mean, he already killed the patriarch Dojima in this case anyway, quote unquote. He already killed Dojima.
Yeah.
He could have just stopped there, right? Because he already killed the guy, the antagonist of his life anyway. So why are you hitting on Kiryu 10 years later? I'm like, I don't know. Again, it's the motivation and the projection of anger just didn't make sense to me.
Mhm.
And I'm talking about the series here.
Mhm. Yeah.
About him rising within the ranks. That they didn't explain that shit. No, they
Nope.
didn't. So how the hell did he become the interim patriarch of the Dojima family in the first place?
Yeah, I
Mhm.
wondered that too. I was like, how did he go from being a nobody to being the head? Like, what?
I mean,
No, I mean,
10
yeah,
years,
I
yeah,
mean,
sure, but
right, because 10 years is a long time. But
mhm.
they didn't even explain how he rose up. Yeah, yeah, he killed some people, but that's not enough.
I mean,
And
does
remember,
he have the
he was
business
just the last.
acumen to, make
Yeah,
the clan money? Does he forge alliances? Does he, have political
no,
power? Nothing. No,
no,
nada.
no. All he did different was just put some gel on his hair and acted serious like this.
Yes, exactly. Oh, my goodness. Well, no, I guess it all boils down to, I think in the end of it, it's expectations, how we as gamers are looking at the television show as opposed to somebody like Jose. And it's a question of whether the show was able to accomplish its goals. I think it would be a good time to kind of bring it all together. I want to hear from everybody if the show accomplished its goal as a television show by itself or as a television show in comparison to the video games. Let's hear it. From the one who has the most at stake here because of how much she loves the video game series, Miss Eileen. Does the television show accomplish what it set out to do?
I mean, first of all, who is their actual target audience?
Mhm.
Because if they're adapting something, a beloved video game series, and they changed almost everything, what did they expect the reception would be? Of
Yeah.
course, the video game players would want at least a faithful adaptation, even if it's not 100% accurate. But then maybe because it's Amazon Prime, there's a bigger audience out there. I'm not sure who really they want to please, or they really just thought, oh, let's do what we want and whatever, and just put something out there, just slap the name Yakuza, and that's it. I would say for video game players, it doesn't really appeal much, considering, again, like I said, it's not accurate at all. They change. I'm generous if I say 80%. Maybe they really didn't adapt much. It's just the characters, their looks. It's not even their personalities, not even the main story. Kamurocho is just one or two frames in the series. And then, like what I said in the in our group chat, where is the violence? Because the game is a brawler, and like the violence from episodes 1 to 5 are like, let's say, 10 seconds each, and spread out through the entire episode. And the story, and it's 6 episodes with an hour each. They weren't able to flesh out the actual story. And again, like my tagline earlier, the 2007 movie is better because it was able to do that even with just 2 hours. And I was able to watch half of the stage play, and they were very faithful to the story, even if it's just 2.5 hours. And it had the limitations of a stage play and physical backdrops. It even had to take breaks just to change the stage behind them. But it was able to capture the video game better because, again, there is a source material. So, what's the point of adapting if you're not gonna respect it? I guess they were either making something that's gonna please them. Again, a fan fiction. They're not pandering to video game players. They may be they maybe want to earn money because if they we have invested 6 hours into this shit show. I'm not sure if we would continue. I think I will, even if I hate it, because I already wasted 6 hours of my life, and there's the cliffhanger. So I guess those who haven't played the game will want to know what happens after that cliffhanger. As for video game players, maybe we will try and see what they make of that. What to call this? The twist at the end, because that doesn't happen in the game. So I'm actually curious what happens. I've already invested my time, so maybe I'll try. If there's a season 2, I'll try the first episode, and I'll see from there. But non-game players, maybe they're intrigued, they would continue. But again, from seeing Jose's point of view, it got confusing. It's not really played out well and confusing at times. So I'm not sure if even the non-video game players were hooked into the series. So I'm really not sure if there's a season 2. Good luck with that.
All right, which is a very good segue into our next opinion giver, Jose. As a viewer of the Amazon Prime series, did it accomplish what it set out to do in your eyes?
I think it did. It did it. It could have done it a lot better. I feel like 6 episodes is not enough. Most streaming shows at least have 8 or 10. So I feel like it could have benefited from having at least 4 more episodes so that everything didn't feel as rushed. I don't know, like I enjoyed the show as someone who didn't play the games. I enjoyed the show.
Okay,
it was confusing at times, and it did end on a cliffhanger of sorts. So the TV watcher in me hopes that there's another season because I would watch it. But this kind of just makes me want to go play the games.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Because I know you guys are coming from it like from video game players, and the same thing like when you read a book and then they make it in a movie and you're like, what did they do? So now I'm doing the opposite, where I want to go and play the games. One thing I will say about the shows is, okay, there wasn't that much fights, but the fights did not seem very good.
No,
like there was like, even when they were fighting and when the hits connected, there was no impact. It was almost like
it was a schoolyard rumble.
That's what I was saying. It was like, almost like when I
That's
was
a
younger
disrespect to every other school rumbles out there.
it was like when I was younger and we used to like play fight. That's what it looked like I was watching, because like there was parts where there's a part specifically where Kiryu kicks Dishiki at the end,
Mhm.
And there was like no impact. It was almost like he just like tapped them and he went flying. And I was like, what? Like, you guys could have done this a lot better.
All right. Well, that's Jose's opinion, and honestly, it kind of mirrors mine because of the fact that where to begin? It
Oh, we got a
is.
message here from Sir.
So much to digest.
Mhm,
This is all coming from Sir Eric.
mhm. All right,
So
Disney Marvel is a good example of why you stay loyal to the IP. There are fantastic things about the Marvel Universe, character stories, and even superpowers. And how now the world knows why Thanos is so terrifying, why the comic book action was truly awesome, and why plot twists like Bucky being Winter Soldier were so cool. Yes, very much agreed on that one. Actually, if I may, I tried my best. I honestly tried my best to be appreciative of the Amazon Prime show as a video game player. But honestly, it is one of the most disappointing experiences I've ever had the displeasure to go through, because of the fact that you go into it felt like the show knew that there was going to be a built-in audience based on the Yakuza franchise, on the Like a Dragon franchise. They knew the gamers were going to show up. The least you could have done was at least give them a little bit of a taste of the meal that they've enjoyed so far in the video games. But no, the fact is, you invited these video gamers to come to enjoy your show, and you just basically shoved them off to the side and tried to welcome everybody else who had no idea what the party was all about, to try to feed them stuff that they had no idea what the food was all about either. The gamers who came in looking for a meal that catered to their tastes were said, "Well, screw you guys. Go into the closet there somewhere. You guys are going to be in the house anyway, but we're not going to cater to you." The fact is, it's one of the most disappointing things about the show. Aside from the characters, aside from the set, aside from the action, everything, the fact is, it was all a huge disappointment to me. Kazuma Kiryu in the video games punches out a tiger, for God's sake. In the Amazon Prime show, he barely comes across as somebody who can beat Haruka, if you ask me, honestly. I mean, the truth of the matter is, it's so disappointing because there's so many things about the game. Fine. There is no joy to be found in this Amazon Prime series for me. There is no joy as a video game player, because the funniest thing about the video games is it's got a lot of brutal action. But to be perfectly honest, you went through it and you came out of it saying, that was an enjoyable experience. That was very joyful. Kiryu is an amazing character. Nishiki, for his faults, was an amazing character too. Majima is being a dick, but still, he was a huge motivation for Kiryu. Kamurocho is a joyful place to be, despite all the problems, despite all these thugs coming up to you and trying to cave in your face every single corner. The fact is, it is one of the most disappointing 6 hours of my life I've ever spent as a video game player and as a television show watcher who tried to watch it objectively, who's coming in. It was a confusing mess. There was nothing to look forward to every single episode. I was just pushing myself to finish the whole damn thing. And to be perfectly honest, I don't even know if I'm going to be sticking around for a season 2, because of the fact that it departed so much from the franchise that I loved that they might as well have just made some police drama, crime drama, and just called it, Life and Times of Somebody Named Kazuma Kiryu, as opposed to it being a Yakuza related game or a Yakuza related show. Sorry to have to say, but it's a thumbs down for me as a video game player and as a television watcher. Joe, bring us home. Give us your opinion and tell us your opinion.
there was nothing about the character Kiryu here, because I keep looking at the actor. I don't see the character Kiryu. I see the actor playing as
Better.
Kiryu, right? And like I said in our group chat, he looked more like
Pocket Circuit Fighter.
Pocket Circuit Fighter. The actor,
See that?
the actor. uh, the actor playing Kiryu in this series looks exactly like the pocket circuit fighter from the video game.
We need the picture
If we
side
have
by
a clip,
side.
if we have a picture, uh, sir, just give it to Sir Jose. He might understand. He might think that I'm just joking. No, I'm not. Uh, do we have a picture there somewhere? Could you please? And
Let me try.
Miss Eileen, do the honors. Yes, go ahead, Joe. Continue.
so,
I'm
um,
gonna look for it.
so to prepare for the when we agreed to do the Amazon series Yakuza, to prepare for this episode, I tried playing some of the games, and as far as I could muster was Zero, Kiwami 1 and Kiwami 2. That's all I could that's all the time that I had. And all throughout, because Sir Dan, Sir Joel, Miss I, and even Sir JDM were suggesting for me to play it. At least some of the games, anyway. The first few games, just so that so that I have some background knowledge about the lore. And for the longest time that I played those games, I kept on bitching and moaning about on how I progressed as the days went on, and and even Sir Joel was pretty much set up to me. You're very critical of the writing of the games, uh, telling me to lighten up, and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty critical with the whole storytelling of the games. And say what you will about the video games, um, it's one of those gaming franchises that I've experienced that I really kept going back, all because of the story. I could care less about the fighting, about the gameplay. Really, I just wanted to know whether I like the whether I like what's going on or not. I just took it as a straight value, and then I just criticized it as I went on. The motivation of the characters, why they were doing what they were doing, and and then watching this, look at it, look at that. Oh, so look at this, guys. Look at this.
Let me zoom
So
for
the
you.
picture above, so the picture above is your pocket circuit fighter from Yakuza Kiwami 1. And the bottom, that's your main actor playing as Kiryu. And then Kiryu, and then of course Kiryu, the game character. Now look at the actor. Look at now look at the actor. Look at Kiryu. Now look at now look at the fighter. Then back to Kiryu. Then back to the actor, and then back to the fighter. Who the hell do you think should the actor be playing as? Right?
Actually, yeah, that let me toss in a little bit of a criticism here. You have a built-in audience here. The least you could have done is do a little bit, like Eric says in the comments, do a little bit of what Marvel did and toss in little bits of fan service. Kiryu drinking Tauriner, passing by a pocket circuit fighting portion. I mean, was it all that expensive to get a license from Tamiya just to show one scene of Kiryu passing by, having a look at mini RC cars running around and saying, like nodding his head maybe a little bit and then maybe moving on afterwards, or just simple, just something as simple as like maybe sitting down to drink, a Yamazaki, what do you call that, or like a whiskey that he normally drinks. Even Sotenbori I didn't see the large crab in the Sotenbori. Just one shot of the crab
They
restaurant.
didn't do anything much about Sotenbori.
Like, the fact is, I let me just say this. I've walked the streets of Kamurocho and Sotenbori so much that my wife has commented to me How do you know where to go? Because I told the wife, because I walk these streets a lot, sweetie. I know this place like the back of my hand. None of that was done at all in the television show. And to be perfectly honest, again, like I said, they were banking on a built-in audience showing up. They didn't even bother to give that built-in audience any scraps. They said, we're
I
going after a brand new audience. You audiences, you guys are going to show up anyway. We don't care about you. You guys are just going to be there. Mhm. Yes, go ahead,
for,
John.
for uh for the first time in a long time, I never got so angry at my TV screen watching this series. Like all the time, like every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes, I keep yelling, "What?" Because for every dialogue, for every dialogue that they're saying, for every action that they're doing, everything was questionable for me. And I'm like, okay, sure. And then every episode was a chore watching this. I'm like,
Let me compliment Jose on this one. The fact that he
Yeah.
was able to follow everything, from starting fresh. Even I, as a video game player, coming into the into the television
was
show.
he able to follow it though?
Well, were you, Jose? You said you were generally able to see the,
Hey, I was generally able to follow it. There was things that were confusing and
yeah.
things that were just like, wait, what? Like, but
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I have to compliment Jose on that because honestly, as somebody coming in with, I tried to disassociate my knowledge of the video game. If I'd started watching this as somebody just coming in off of the streets, I would have been completely lost. None of this would have made any sense. And it would have lost me second episode in, probably, or maybe third episode. And I would have just said, I don't enjoy
I
this.
I think the series would have benefited if they just shaved off a few subplots here and there. And
Mhm.
I might be the minority in this one. If they
Mhm.
just
It dragged
shaved
on.
off a few subplots and just centered and then just centered on the actual $10 billion heist kind of thing.
Mhm.
They just settled on that. That's it.
And
They didn't really, the serial murder thing was not necessary,
and to
really.
not make it a to not make it a goddamn insult to look for references to the video game. The fact is, if it was like finding that fight scene on the side, or like little things like the shogi table. Yeah, sure, shogi is a game that you can actually play in Yakuza Kiwami. If you really wanted to, you could. But something as it's a goddamn chore, and it's a damned insult to the video game players to, all right, sure, we're at the very end of the production cycle, let's just toss in a couple of scenes to make the video gamers happy. Those scraps that I was talking about, when you invited them to the party and you're just giving them, in local parlance, kaning baboy, which is, like the leftovers that you feed to the dogs. But that's it. That it's a goddamn insult to try to, in Marvel, you look for these little Easter eggs. Here, the Easter eggs are just plain rotten eggs. I'm sorry to have to say this. That's it. I'm sorely disappointed with the show. I am not going. I am just. I have half a mind to just go onto the Amazon review page and just type in, "There is no
If,
joy to be found here."
if we are going to compare to Marvel, and
Mhm.
I'm going to toss DC in this as well.
Sure. Yeah.
With the Marvel movies, at least the writers behind the Marvel movies, I mean, they can only go so much respecting the source material, but they still know how to be creative to write around it.
Yes.
With DC, they just didn't understand their characters well enough, and
Mm.
they just went on on a person's vision of what it's supposed to be. That it kind of alienated everyone's expectations of the characters as they are supposedly within the source material. It, they acted differently from what people knew they were. So yeah, and again, like the guys mentioned here, they they really just wanted to make something that they think that they can be proud of. That is something different, and I'm like, yeah, if anything, you just kept the names of the characters, but this is no Yakuza.
Yeah. So
Just call
again,
something, just call it something else.
for me, 2 thumbs down. Sorry to have to say this. Jose, what's your rating?
Um, sideways thumb? No, like
Miss
not up,
Eileen.
not down. Like
Sure, that sounds fine. Miss Eileen, what's your rating?
I made 2 ratings for this one. If it's coming from someone who's never played the game, I would say somewhere around 6 or 7.
Okay.
And I think I'm being generous. But from a player perspective, I'm also generous with a 4.
A 4. Extremely generous. For me, it's just
Right.
straight up thumbs down. How about you, Joe?
No amount of dogesas will suffice. No amount of little fingers will suffice. This
Mm.
movie should just get a dagger and just commit seppuku.
Agreed.
Goddamn.
Okay. Yeah. Joy and I are of the same opinion on that one.
Commit seppuku.
Yeah. Sorry, Amazon. You much like Rings of Power and how you insulted the Tolkien fan base, you did the same thing with Yakuza Like a Dragon. Sorry to have to say this, but if you're not gonna respect the source material, you might as well just make a brand new show, rename it something else. Maybe you'll garner more money that way. But sorry,
and
it's
they're moving on to other video game franchises.
yes,
Oh yeah. Oh, so if
Do
you're
not
throwing
touch
out,
Mass Effect.
if we're throwing out Marvel characters here, how about making a Venom movie without mentioning Spider-Man?
Well, yeah. Shh. Well,
How is that making money? I don't know why.
Mhm. All right. So I think that's about it for everybody's opinion of the Yakuza Like a Dragon Amazon Prime television show. Very mixed results, very mixed opinions. It's a confusing,
Mixed,
disjointed mess. Some people like it, some people don't. You can watch it. We're not going to stop you from watching it, but honestly, you're better off spending your time elsewhere. Play the games. You'll have much more joy doing it.
If Miss, I would probably suggest just watch the Yakuza movie or just
Yes.
watch the play. You'll get
Yes.
more mileage just by watching those.
Lots of Easter eggs, and yeah, it's lots of fan service too.
More
And they captured the campiness of the games without taking things too seriously.
Mm.
This Amazon series take things way too seriously.
Yes.
Yeah. Those other 2, you can easily follow the story. It's not confusing at all.
Jose, that's Miss Eileen's recommendation to you. Find the Yakuza movie from 2007, right? Right, Miss Eileen?
Yes.
And
For
watch
the
that
stage play.
All right. So take us home, Joe. I think we've put the final nail on this coffin.
And that's the Yakuza Like a Dragon, more like a drag on. Wink, wink. That's the show, guys. So we'll just do our shameless plugs. Sir Jose, where can they find you?
You can find me Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Dark Gothic Fate. That's also my handle on any gaming platforms. If anyone wanted to find me on any of their gaming platforms of choice. And that's about it for me.
All right, thank you for that, Sir Jose. How about you, Miss I?
Can I share screen something for my shameless plug?
Absolutely, yes.
It's there. Not sure if it's showing up. So you can find me on Twitch and YouTube for my videos. And these are all my unsaid opinion. I'm not articulate enough to say this. This is all my opinion on the TV show. That's
We
all.
would
Thank you.
encourage Miss Eileen to actually post this in our Facebook
Oh, we
page.
didn't say that. I'd say just post it on the Facebook page.
Just
Yeah,
pause it.
Yeah, post it on the Facebook page. And for all of you, read Miss Eileen's opinion, react on it. Okay.
I'll need to tidy it up though. It's so messy.
That's fine. That's fine.
All right. How about you, Sir Joel? Where can they find you?
All right. You can actually find me in the actual Kamurocho, because if there's one good thing coming out of this travesty of a television show, it has prompted me to continue the rest of the series 4, 5, 6, The Man Who Erased His Name, and Infinite Wealth. So you'll be able to find me playing the actual video games and enjoying myself immensely. And probably even wearing my suit right now. You can also find me streaming random games on Twitch and on Kick under the banner Banyagang Native, hashtag FUFB. And you'll always find me here in Timeless Gamer Show, unless something really bad happens, like getting a tooth extracted or, the internet going out. But yes, thank you very much, everybody, for hanging around, watching the show, enjoying our opinions, very subjective as they are. But thanks for being there. Thanks for being our audience in Timeless Gamer. On to you, Joe.
All right. Thank you for that, Sir Joel. And of course, by next week, we will continue on with our Dungeons and Dragons live action LARPing. So we're going to be LARPing again. Sir Eric Wahlberg, he's right there in the chat. He's returning once again to finish us off. Finish our adventure off with our Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and that will be for next week. So be sure to check that out. And if you are curious about our first campaign, the first part of our campaign, rather, you know where to go. You know where to look for. And that's it, guys. Thank you all so much. And as always, our games and our bodies may grow out of date, but our gaming experiences will forever remain. Hey,
Timeless. All right,
Timeless.
guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you guys next week for D&D. Bye.
Bye.